Yo, what's going on? Another episode of Legacy Mindset Podcast with your boy E and your boy R. Back with another one.
Yes. I'm telling you now, hit that thumbs up button, that little bell icon, like and subscribe to the channel. It shall be appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it, ER.
Yeah, so we got a hot topic today. We talking about budgeting. You know, this is a sore spot in, a lot of people finances because some people don't have it, allocated to budgeting. Their money is going anywhere. They letting the money control themselves, so stay tuned. We're gonna drop some gems. We're gonna show you, try to give you some insights on how to manage your money right. So that way you control your money and don't let your money control you.
Yeah. I know this is a sensitive one here.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to talk about this, but I'm gonna be honest with you. You got to have this conversation with yourself if you're single, and with your spouse if you're married or you in a committed relationship.
Right.
This is one of them things you got, because for the longest, I'm telling you, some years, me and my wife, boy, we was back and forth because she did more spending than I did. Then I found myself eventually, like, the more money we made, I found myself like, just, because that's the wife. I'm always like, yeah. When somebody have to put that foot down, like, no.
We gotta figure out a way to start taking control of all the finances as a whole. Some people have split accounts, with their spouses. Some people have joint accounts. That decision is up to you, but we'll tell you what we think should happen. But that's up to you, to talk with your spouse about. But yeah, you got to get it control. Got to get it under control.
Yeah. Well, and I'm be honest, I thank God I'm one of them ones that, me and the wife, we've had joint accounts for the longest. Now, we did break it up at one moment because we had separate accounts for a minute. It was a problem. So, she saw, you know, quickly, like, okay, yeah, let's put it back together.
Yeah.
But, most couples, when I tell you, one, as a couple, especially being married, that you're on the same page. Because if you're not on the same page, boy, I tell you, boy, your finances will be all over the place. And I ain't trying to get us jumped on or nothing like that in the comments, but I think some men probably, because I've heard of some women who complain about the husband spend a lot, but you hear more about the husband complaining about the wife spending a lot, or the woman spending a lot, for those of you who are not married. And I don't know what it is, but then there are men such as myself who have a hard time. I have a hard time telling my wife no, because you want to keep a smile on her face. And I know they say happy wife, happy life, but hey, happy husband too. Now don't forget about the man, because I'm telling you. So, man, I encourage a joint account. I get it. Some people like, hey, no, I, for whatever reason. But if you're in a committed relationship or you married, why not? You know what I'm saying? Because you want to know. One of the biggest things with budgeting is you want to know where your money is going. You want to know what you're spending, how you're spending it, because if you plan on getting to a point to where you investing, especially in the markets and yourself, as far as building the business, how you gonna do that if you constantly just throwing money here and there? It's going anywhere. How you gonna be like, okay, well, here's what we have to allocate, because it's about allocation. That after that point, you gotta know what percentage you're gonna spend here, what percentage you're gonna spend there. after you've paid your bills and everything and made sure your household has been taken care of.
Right.
But if you're not paying attention to your finances, how you gonna figure that out?
Exactly. Yeah, you got to know your cash flow. How much money, you bring in each month. Some people might do it a month, might even do it for the year. I don't know, but you should know your yearly salary at least, and then try to break that down by the month. Or if you get paid weekly or 2 weeks, you know, you know how much you get paid a month, and then take that weekly payment and structure it out to what you're gonna pay, or is it bi-weekly, which means 2 weeks, how much you're gonna pay something, a bill, or you know, basically breaking it up like you said, percentages, and then from there you can know where you want to put your money if it's for groceries, for bills, utilities, or if it's for even fun. You gotta have some money for entertainment. So you want to calculate that too in your budget as well. So, that's where, I say I like to see where how much I can go out and have fun with, and go to the movies, or go to a nice event, basketball
Yeah.
game or whatever. So, yeah, there's different strategies. So I want to bring up some strategies. Everybody got their different strategies of budgeting. There's the 50, 30, 20 budget rule, where it says you divide after tax income into 50% needs, like, which is rent, food, and then there's 30% like for your wants, for entertainment, and then there's 20% for savings or debt repayment as well. So that's one. Another one is zero based budgeting, which ensures income minus expenses equals zero. So basically, you take out all your money, all your expenses, all your income, and then every single dollar, all the way until you get to zero, has a purpose. So that's zero based budgeting. Of course, you got pay yourself first, which is something we'll talk about. Then the last one, 70-20-10 rule. So you allocate 70% of income to living expenses, and then 20% to financial goals, which is savings or investing, and then 10% for debt repayment, and or just whatever spending, discretionary spending. So those are some of the budgeting strategies, but you can call it how you want, say how you want it. At the end of the day, is you taking control of your money, and figuring out how you're gonna put your money into different places, whether it's for a bill, but savings, investing, repaying debt, or even just paying yourself. So that's something you're gonna have to do your homework and work out yourself. There's tools, calculators out there, on the web that can help you budget. So you can't just do it without trying and just say, okay, I and do it all in your head. You gotta actually sometimes write it out, put it on a whiteboard, go buy a whiteboard, you know, go buy a pad, get together and figure out what's what.
When it come to this, it's really to each his own, because consistency is key. That's definitely big. You have to know the difference between a want and a need. Because when you budgeting, it depends on why you budgeting. So once again, we can always take this back to the why. If you're budgeting because you want to build generational wealth, you want to change your family tree, and you want to get into the stock market, you want to get into crypto, you want to get into real estate, you want to, start your own business. I'm tell you right now, you gotta have your priorities in order.
Right.
Yes, we do. You want to have fun and everything? Yeah, you do. But at the same time, if you don't plan, because you said this too, all this stuff is key.
Right.
If you don't plan for your future gonna be what it's gonna be. It don't matter what you're trying to do. You have to plan. And budgeting is a plan. In fact, I'm gonna say budgeting is a master plan.
Right.
And you have to do it. All that 50, 30, 20, all that stuff there, it's good, it's nice, but you'll find that you have to figure out your own. 50, 30, 20, or your own, 40, 40, 20, 30. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You, you gotta put you gotta break down your own percentages,
Exactly.
because I'm gonna tell you these percentages, because I ran across this same type of information, back in the day, and definitely came into it again, leading up to this video. And I compared it to how me and the wife been doing things.
Mhm.
And when I tell you, sometimes you have to just go for the gusto. Like right now, we're paying off debt. We're investing. We're starting a business. We got our house, that we got stuff that we're doing to it, and we're buying it and everything. I think a lot of people would say, I own my house. Yeah, you may own it, but if you still paying a mortgage, you know
Right.
what I'm saying? Even when you finish paying your mortgage, you don't own the land, you got to pay taxes. And if your finances ain't right and you mess up on your taxes, they can still come take that house from you.
Yep.
So it
Or
don't
they had
matter,
start garnishing your wages for taxes. They start coming after your income, your cash flow.
Yeah,
If you
no
don't
doubt.
start messing around with the government and taxes and stuff. So that's why it's important to start paying off your debt, because when Mr. Government, or was it Uncle Sam, start knocking at your door like, hey, you owe these bills. I don't care what you
Yeah.
got going on. You're going to give me my
No.
10, 20%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? With that being said, it's important that you really understand the difference between a want and a need, because sometimes that want gets you in trouble. I get it. I love to have fun too. In fact, if I wasn't having as much fun as I used to have before I got married, leading up to getting married, we'd have been where we trying to go now, or should I say where we're going now.
Right.
Because I used to have fun. I spent money before I even met my wife. Every dime I used to get going to the bar, hanging out with the fellas, drinking, smoking marijuana and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was having fun. I wasn't thinking about investing in all this.
Right.
I wish I was, but I wasn't.
Yeah.
See,
All that
because
money you lost back then, you probably could have had a lot,
it hurt to even want to talk about it. Because I'm gonna tell you not. I'm gonna tell you not. I was basically spending then when
Right.
I should have been doing this then for my now.
Right.
But because I wasn't doing it then for my now, now in our 50s we doing it, and you really gotta buckle down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
All that fun and hanging out and stuff. Yeah, I mean, you could do it. You just gotta figure out how to do it without spending a bunch of money or no money at all, if because it's possible. But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't think about that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody want to spend, spend, spend. And then later on, you like, man, I could have put this on that. I could have did this with that. Yeah, you right. And man, I'm telling you, it don't feel good, but you gotta know your why. You gotta
Yeah.
be disciplined. You gotta stick to it. You gotta be consistent. Because if you don't, ooh, boy, either it's gonna prolong your process or you just ain't gonna never reach it.
Yeah. I think it's probably the latter, right? You get older, and then you start thinking about it like 55 or 60 years old. If you ain't got nothing saved up or budgeted for your future when you was 20, 30, right?
Right.
So your future is looking kind of, scary.
Dim.
Yeah, looking kind of
Dim.
dim, right? So you gonna have to work extra. You ain't gonna be able to retire. I think the age is 65, or they raised it to 67 now. So
65,
uh
but at the same time, they encourage you not to retire till you get like 70, 72.
that's crazy.
1 foot in the grave,
Yeah,
or half dead.
right, exactly. So you don't want to work to that. I mean, you want to have your your surplus, so that way you can, of course, have enough for your daily living expenses and have some for your heirs. Your
Right.
son, your grandchildren. your daughter, nephews. You want to build a legacy. So this is what this podcast is about: is building a legacy, getting your finances in order, budgeting, planning your life for the future that you want to live. So if you start doing it now, I guarantee you're gonna thank yourself in the future. Definitely gonna thank yourself in the future.
It's this one here, man. It's something that a lot of people I know they really don't want to have this conversation,
No, right,
uh, with they self, let alone with they significant other, because it's tough.
right,
It's a tough one. You got to really want it. It's like, how bad do you want it? Because we've been programmed and taught to be consumers,
yeah,
and because of that it's been handed down from generation to generation. And unless you was raised in a family that really knew how to save, budget, and invest and build this wealth, you got to get to a point in your life where you figure it out and you learn it. And once you do, you got to grab hold to that thing, and you can't let nothing stop you or get in your way, because if you do, guess what? You'll go right back to the old way of doing things, and you'll find yourself working until you'll be married to that job, working for somebody else, bringing them, building their generational wealth, and it'll be till death do you part.
right,
And I refuse to. You know what I'm saying? One one of the biggest things that the Bible talks about is God's people perishing for a lack of knowledge.
right.
And once I start getting this knowledge and this understanding, and all you're getting, get an understanding.
Yeah,
Because once you get that understanding, it's like, hold on, man, I got to do this. I've been doing this, and it ain't really been getting me nowhere. I mean, yes, you have fun, little laughter, and you know what I'm saying. You may even have those moments where you've had a nice amount of money laying around for a minute, because it goes quick. Money, I'm telling you, when
yeah,
you don't pay attention to how you spending it, or who you allowing to make you spend your money, because in most instances that's what's happening. Somebody else telling you, outside of bills that you have to pay and debt, somebody else saying, hey, let's do this, let's do that. And most of the time it's family. I'm gonna keep it real. Unless you got a lot of friends you hang out with, most of the time it's family. Every
yeah,
time when they want to go somewhere, hey, and I ain't trying to be funny. I love my family, and they come across this, they gonna feel like, oh, hey, it is what it is. I'm just telling the truth.
right.
I'm not tight. I will
Sometimes
spend.
you can't go to the club and spend money. Sometimes you can't go to that basketball game, football game. That admission costs probably, if it ain't in line with your budget, what I'm saying? You gotta be disciplined with yourself to understand,
You
like,
do.
I could probably do this next week or the next month or later in the year, but I just ain't got it right now. Even though you may have the money to do it, but guess what? It's gonna hurt your budget, hurt your long run planning. So you gotta, be disciplined and understanding what you have and basically doing it for yourself. So if you go out and spend that money with your family or your friends right then and there, and basically it's gonna hurt you once you say, dang, I shouldn't have spent that money. I should have put it towards this. Now you done.
Right.
Now you're still behind. You basically are back at square one because you ain't had enough self respect and self discipline for yourself to say, you know what? I said I was gonna do this, and I'm a man of my word. I'm a woman of my word, and guess what? I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna just gonna wait until my money is right, until I have enough money for, going out to a trip to Barbados, whatever you want to go. You know, if you ain't got the money
Hey,
right now and it ain't in your budget, just don't do it yet. You know,
yeah.
we all about having fun too, but guess what? You gotta be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep up with the Joneses all the time.
And see, that's a big problem there. And the sad part about it is that's so old and cliche-ish,
Yeah,
really, to be
right.
honest with you. If people ain't learned by now from that, then
hmm
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
hope
but
they
they
get
got
it.
they got social media out now, Instagram, Facebook, X now. But guess what? They see those pictures, they see people living their lifestyle, great, but not knowing that they just doing that for for to capture the moment, the picture. But guess what? They probably going back like, dang, looking at their bill, $3, $4, $5,000 bills, like, dang, was that even worth it? You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
just building
yeah,
up their clout. But as you was watching, you like, man, I wish I had that money just to be out there on the beach all the time. That
yeah.
stuff is not realistic. You know what I'm saying? Is people, they probably carve out some time or some money to do that venture. But then, you're just looking at it as like, dang, they must got it all the time. That ain't the case.
Yeah, well,
Some people do have it, but not most of the time. It ain't the case. You know,
yeah, yeah. And you definitely if it's you or not,
right,
And then it's about leading by example too.
right,
Cause like with our family, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit up here and say, no to this, but then turn around and I'm doing it behind my family's back. No, because I'm trying to lead by example, me and my wife. We
right,
trying to show the family, like, look, man, you wanna budget, save, invest now, because like for us, again, I hate that it took us to get to our 50s. I
right,
wish we'd have been on this, but now we gotta put in that work.
right.
What they would say, we gotta grind, and we on the grind. We can't let nothing or nobody get in the way.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I'm saying? For a prime example, I got an aunt, and if she come across this video, forgive me. I ain't got to say no names or nothing like that, which
right,
one, but here it is. Like, we go out, and when I sat there and seen, like, I saw like how much money was spent, and yes, I felt bad because for me, with my pockets, I'm like, man. But when I looked and see, I told her, like, man,
right,
like I feel bad because you just spent what you spent, and you treated everybody, and I know that's love and everything, but at the same time it's like, come on, man, do you know what that could have just increased in your finances? But you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And she know, but at the same time it's like, man, it's rough for me,
right,
because I'm like, man, we can cook at the crib, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got to be, we can go to the store and spend like 20-30 bucks. I know food expensive now, but if you know how to cook, you know how to multiply some stuff like Jesus did, you know what I'm saying?
right.
You go to the store, come in and hook up some chicken and salad and some baked potatoes or something, man. And it don't cost you, you know what I'm saying, 50-60 bucks like at the restaurant, you know what I'm saying, for one person.
Right.
And it's like, because it, just imagine if what in this market, especially with crypto, if you budgeting, how many people, like, studies show like 43 to 50% of people do not have a savings of $1,000. That's sad. That's real sad, because that $1,000, you might have to use it for an emergency, and it may go well over, but at the same time, at least you had a nice little piece of it.
Right.
But let's say you don't have that emergency, God is blessing you, you got that $1,000 sitting there, you budgeting, you still even adding to that $1,000, but you still got your investments going, and your investments growing, they compounding. Man, you in a good position, and you paying your debt off, and let's just say you debt free. Ooh,
Yeah, ain't nothing like being free, man. Debt free.
we and I ain't faking the funk. We paying off debt. Like I said, we doing all the above. We
Hmm.
cramming. And yes, it don't feel good. And because we cramming, yes, we really have to be cautious of our spending. We
Right.
can't be hanging out trying to go to the restaurant and stuff like that, because we still paying off debt. And some of the debt comes from, like, you know what I'm saying? It comes from kids, student loans. They play
Yeah.
on your emotions. What parent don't want their kid to go to college?
Right.
But you never know if your kid gonna go all the way or not. And so guess what? You stuck with that as a parent. From there, it's nothing against my kids or nothing like that. But at the same time, you in debt.
Exactly.
You got to pay that off.
Right.
And you learn from that too. It won't happen no more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank God they all grown. So if they want to go to college, they definitely gotta pay their own way.
Right.
But I still, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. Son in love. But man, when it come to budgeting and all this, man, I'm telling you, man, I got to remain focused and stay strong on it, because if not, I mean, we can just say skip it all. You know what I'm saying? Sell all the stocks and crypto, all the money in the savings and stuff, and just go out with a bang and be right back in debt and just work, more debt and just work for the rest of our lives. But we'll be having fun with everybody though, going on nice little trips and stuff, and sometimes using Klarna, what I'm saying, putting it on layaway. It's people doing that.
But that's a good way. The budget though, if you want something big, hey, make payments over time, or put it on layaway, put $10 on it until you can be able to get it. I say that's a good way to budget, so that way you ain't spending that big lump $2,000 on something. You could just, all right, let me put $100 on it, until I get it.
Look at you. I see you smiling, but at the same time, that's that age gap.
Yeah,
I ain't thinking about it, man. Y'all can have it.
Right.
Y'all can have that.
Dude, you got Klarna, Afterpay, all that.
Yeah, SoFi, all that. Oh yeah, I'd rather put my money in SoFi. Y'all keep on doing it. The more people doing stuff like that, they making that stock go up. And guess what? I be sitting right there looking like, yep, when I'm gonna take profit, when I'm gonna add that to the wealth we have.
Right. All right, so we had time. So I hope you guys found something knowledgeable here to help you guys start investing and start budgeting your money, allocating your funds to the proper buckets, so that way you can have that surplus at the end of your paycheck or week or month to go ahead and start investing, getting into stocks, into crypto, real estate, building a business, investing in yourself for your mind and your knowledge too as well. So don't forget, investing in yourself is, probably the biggest thing you can do as well. So, so I hope you found this, this episode, knowledgeable. If you want to learn more, please like and subscribe, comment below. If you're having trouble budgeting your money, you need more tips, you want to go deeper, put it in the comments below what you're having struggles with, and we'll reach out and we'll help you from there.
And people gotta really sit down and be like, you know what, man, enough has been enough.
Exactly.
It's time to get going.
Yes, sir. All right, you heard it here first. Legacy Mindset Podcast, the way of life, the way of living. Your boy E and your boy R.
Yes, sir.
All right. Peace.